Each year, railway tracks become the line between life and death for thousands of animal species. Each collision is a warning, not just for nature, but for the humans living alongside it. Today, we will look back at those tragic encounters and why just a moment of distraction can lead to the worst consequences. Never let livestock roam near the tracks. Build sturdy enclosures and implement strict management measures. A horse tried to cross the tracks, ignoring the oncoming train's horn. In the blink of an eye, the collision became unavoidable. The train is one of the deadliest machines on Earth, moving at terrifying speeds and carrying the massive weight of dozens of cars. Once in motion, stopping a train is almost impossible. The force of impact is utterly destructive. Just one careless second can turn into an irreversible tragedy. A wild horse wandered onto the tracks and realized the train was coming too late. But fortunately, the tragedy did not claim its life. In the violent collision between nature and cold steel, train strikes involving kangaroos have paralyzed the main railway network in Victoria, with cancellation rates doubling to 5% since 2016. In just 1 year, 400 Bendigo trains and 300 Seymour trains were cancelled. The dog was pulled under the train, trembling and motionless. Incredibly, it was that very stillness and calm that created a chance for survival. What do you think? Could it escape? A dog was unfortunately struck by the train, but miraculously survived. It was quickly rescued by locals and guided to the roadside. But luck doesn't always smile. A dog ran on the tracks and didn't make it off in time, and in the end, the outcome seemed already sealed. Every year, thousands of animal lives are lost on the cold, unforgiving tracks. Property, but also pose deadly threats to humans. Today, we step into moments of fate, where just a second of distraction can lead to everlasting tragedy. Railway tracks are not a place for animals or livestock. A wild cow wandered onto the tracks, realizing the danger too late. But this time, fate smiled. At the very last second, it escaped, running from the jaws of death by a hair's breadth. The moose panicked and ran along the tracks as the train thundered behind. The horn blared continuously, and steel wheels ground on the rails in a heart-stopping, tense moment. In just a few short seconds, this life-or-math chase highlighted the fragility of nature against humanity's immense power. The aggressive moose stood right on the tracks, seemingly challenging the oncoming train. It didn't run, but growled and stomped in a heart-stopping, tense moment. This insane confrontation showed wild instincts clashing head-on with the cold power of steel. Two moose ran alongside the moving freight train, keeping just a hair's breadth distance. They sped up, changed direction, as if racing endurance against the massive steel machine. The moose suddenly appeared on the tracks, forcing the train to slam on the brakes and come to a complete stop. Not backing down, it turned to face the train as if fighting back against the massive iron machine. That tense moment left onlookers stunned at the wild animal's sheer audacity. In Canada, a moose panicked and ran along the tracks as the train approached from behind. The video quickly went viral, showing the danger when wildlife encounters railway tracks. Two massive bears suddenly appeared right in front as the mountain coaster train sped downhill. In a heart-stopping moment, they stood tall in the wild just a few meters away from the riders. The CN train at Jasper almost barreled straight into a dense herd of moose and deer appearing on the tracks. In a heart-stopping moment, the horn blared repeatedly as the train braked hard to ensure the safety of the deer and moose. Unbelievable! In the very last moment, the bear leapt to avoid the high-speed train barreling toward it. A fierce grizzly bear appeared right on the tracks in Banff National Park, Alberta, Canada, facing the oncoming train head-on. It growled, standing its ground as if fighting the massive iron machine in the water. Their bodies cannot pass through the narrow gaps beneath train cars, and the outcome is almost always death. Farmers must closely manage their livestock and never allow them to roam freely in areas with railway tracks. A stray dog wandered onto the tracks and realized the train was coming too late. But fortunately, it found a gap and quickly ran off the tracks safely. After tragedies like these, do farmers truly learn their lesson? Or will history keep repeating itself just because of a moment of distraction? What about you? How can we reduce these heartbreaking accidents? A small donkey, panicked and full of fear, struggled desperately to get off the tracks, but the train was too close. Unfortunately, it was already too late. A train accident was captured live when the speeding train collided with an animal crossing the tracks. The moment happened in the blink of an eye, but was haunting, exposing the brutal clash between the power of steel and the fragility of wildlife. A coaster car stopped just a few centimeters from the animal, narrowly escaping disaster. But the fear lingered on. A cow tried to cross the tracks, ignoring the oncoming train's horn. In the blink of an eye, the collision became unavoidable. The train is one of the deadliest machines on Earth, moving at terrifying speeds and carrying the massive weight of dozens of cars. The fate of this moose seemed already sealed. Tens of thousands of sheep roamed freely across the vast plains, but in the distance, the train horn sounded, growing louder and closer. Fortunately, the train driver was able to control the speed in time and guide the flock safely off the tracks, with all the sheep unharmed. An accident was captured live in Amaravati when a high-speed train kept sounding its horn but still collided with a goat crossing the tracks. A small goat panicked, struggling in desperation as the train drew too close. And then it fortunately and safely escaped the train. In the final seconds, the deer jumped away just in time, escaping what could have been a devastating collision. A herd of deer was hit head-on by a train, and the accident happened in an instant, creating a horrifying scene that sent chills through everyone watching. Trains are among the most dangerous machines on Earth, moving at terrifying speeds while carrying the massive weight of dozens of rail cars. Once in motion, stopping them is nearly impossible. The force of impact is extremely powerful. A single careless moment can turn into an irreversible tragedy. Smaller animals may occasionally survive if they can fit into the narrow gap beneath the train, depending on the train's structure. But for medium or large animals like donkeys, the chance of survival is almost zero. Their bodies can't fit through the narrow gaps beneath the train cars, and the result is almost always fatal. Farmers must control their livestock and never allow them to roam freely near active railway lines. Protecting animal safety also means protecting farmers' property and the emotional bonds they share with their animals. In Crystal Lake, Illinois, a Metra train narrowly avoided colliding with a deer that suddenly appeared on the tracks on April 25, 2024, creating a breath-holding moment for both the engineer and onlookers. This dangerous situation serves as a clear reminder of the risks posed when wildlife appears along railway lines. A heart-stopping moment unfolded when a high-speed train suddenly struck a pigeon on the tracks. A monkey was once trapped on the tracks with a train closing in, its fate seemingly sealed. But as the wheels rolled past and left a narrow gap, it leapt up and escaped, as if it had been granted a second life. That moment wasn't just luck for the dog, but a reminder that even in the darkest hours, there is still a way out if we are patient enough to wait and brave enough to take it. It's time for stricter and more effective management. Railway authorities and train stations need more than just fences. Tens of thousands of ducks wandered across the fields, but in the distance, the sound of a train horn echoed, growing closer and closer. Loss and destruction ultimately all stem from human carelessness. After tragedies like these, will farmers truly wake up? Or will history repeat itself because of a single careless moment? What about you? How can we reduce these heartbreaking accidents? A heartbreaking train accident occurred when the Indian Railways Rajdhani Express struck a dog on the tracks, leaving many people shocked and deeply saddened. The small dog was suddenly pulled beneath the train, its entire body trembling as if there were no escape. If it stayed calm and waited, without rushing to cross the tracks, a chance of survival might actually have been possible. These moments remind us that staying alert behind the wheel isn't just a choice, it's a responsibility. An unlucky dog tries to cross the tracks but panics when it hears the train horn. In a split second, the train slams in, violently throwing the dog to the ground. A heartbreaking moment as the Rajdhani Express comes speeding in and strikes a dog on the tracks. The incident highlights just how deadly railways can be for animals. A tiny creature, driven by survival instinct, risks everything to cross the line of death. That dog likely never understood the sheer power of a train, charging forward blindly on instinct alone. And then, what was bound to happen happens. An incredible leap allows the monkey to escape safely just as the train approaches. A heartbreaking accident happens when a donkey-drawn cart tries to cross the tracks and is struck by an oncoming train. A powerful warning about the dangers at railway crossings. Railway tracks aren't just dangerous for humans, but for wildlife as well. In just one careless second, the bird pays the price when facing a fast-approaching train. Just one fateful moment, a small bird suddenly flies across the tracks with no time to escape as the train comes rushing in at a terrifying speed. Fragile lives stand no chance against the immense power of a train, and the bird doesn't have time to recognize the danger as the train arrives in a split second. This cow completely ignores the piercing warning bell of the oncoming train. It seems far too late to fix the cattle herder's mistake. Just 1 second of delay, and fragile lives stand helpless before a high-speed train. Will this poor dog be lucky enough to survive? Too fast, too dangerous. There's no time to brake, no time to swerve, and the outcome is often brutally devastating. The responsibility lies entirely with humans, from livestock owners and authorities to everyone on the road. Building sturdy fences, strictly managing livestock, raising community awareness, and staying alert while driving are essential measures to prevent similar tragedies. A moving train that couldn't stop passed just centimeters from the cow, and although it escaped by a hair's breadth, the fear and the painful injuries would stay with it forever. In the end, vigilance isn't a choice, it's a responsibility. The train couldn't stop, and there was no way out for the poor cow. Just a little more caution, just one moment of greater awareness could save a life. Not only an animal's, but possibly a... Every year, thousands of animal lives silently vanish on the cold railway tracks. Train collisions with animals not only cause severe property damage, but also put humans in deadly danger. Just one moment of distraction, and the consequences may never be undone. Tracks are no place for roaming livestock. Loose pens, careless management, all of it can lead to tragedy. Two goats slowly step across the tracks, completely ignoring the train whistle blaring. The train, a massive steel giant weighing thousands of tons, barrels forward at a speed it cannot stop. The impact force is enough to destroy any creature in its path. Just one moment of inattention can turn into a lifelong nightmare. There are moments when a slow goat can be sucked right under the train, its whole body trembling on the line between life and death. Amazingly, if it reacts quickly and runs, survival is still possible. What do you think? Could a miracle happen again? Not everyone is so lucky. A small panicked goat tries to get off the tracks, but the sound of steel wheels is too close. In the blink of an eye, it's all over. Small animals can sometimes survive by slipping through the narrow gap beneath the train, but for larger creatures like donkeys or cows, the chances are almost zero. Their bodies simply cannot escape that deadly gap. Farmers must take responsibility. Livestock cannot be left to fate. Strict management not only protects the animals, but also safeguards livelihoods and human safety. Every loss ultimately stems from human carelessness. And the scariest thing isn't the power of the train, but our own indifference. After every tragedy, do we truly wake up? Or will it all repeat again just because of a moment of inattention? What do you think we need to do to reduce these heartbreaking accidents? Railway tracks are not a place for livestock. But a cow still risked crossing, ignoring the train's whistle tearing through the air. In an instant, the tragedy was sealed. A train, a machine weighing thousands of tons, barrels forward at unstoppable speed. Freely near railway tracks. Safe enclosures need to be built and strict management enforced. The entire flock of sheep suddenly surged onto the tracks, blocking the oncoming train. The train had to slow down and stop to ensure the safety of both the sheep and the passengers on board. A stray dog wandered along the tracks and realized the train was coming too late. But unfortunately, the tragedy occurred. The train was speeding toward the tracks when it suddenly collided with two sheep that appeared in its path. A serious accident was averted just in time when the shepherd quickly spotted the approaching train at Manjari Budruk. Thanks to his alertness and immediate reaction, he herded the flock off the tracks by a hair's breadth. At Kotlakpat station, a buffalo crossed the tracks just as the train was speeding toward it and was struck head-on. A large buffalo suddenly charged right in front of the train at Raiwind station, Pakistan. In a heart-stopping moment, it managed to veer off the tracks and narrowly escape disaster. A horrifying moment unfolded as the train suddenly barreled toward and collided with a herd of buffalo on the tracks, all captured unintentionally. This heartbreaking incident serves as a serious warning. Never bring livestock near railway areas to avoid tragic accidents. While in motion, the 2,477 Jodhpur-Jaipur Intercity Express suddenly collided with a cow crossing the tracks. The accident happened in an instant, captured live, showing the danger when livestock enters railway areas. It's time for stronger and stricter management measures. Railway authorities and stations need more than just fences. Each year, as massive steel trains continue to roll without pause, thousands of animal lives quietly vanish along railway lines and highways around the world. Those deaths are rarely fully recorded, but their consequences continue to echo long afterward. A bear walks slowly across the tracks. A goat panics and runs along the cold steel rails. A stray dog wanders in search of food, unaware that in just a few seconds, its life could be wiped away. Animals do not understand the concept of speed, cannot grasp the massive momentum of a train charging toward them, and cannot foresee that this machine can almost never stop in time. When the steel wheels begin to roll, every decision is already beyond the control of both humans and animals.